I told him I'll hold on to it. Hey, what's good, man? Welcome, Scream Fiend fans. Welcome, Scream Fiend fans. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's your boy Carcino here, and let's get into it. Let's get into it, to it, to it, to it, to it. Now, here's what we're getting into. Screen Fiend fans, this is a movie called Materialists. And what do you have is basically two couples who are poor. Chris Evans is a guy who works at a catering company, and he moonlights as a actor who writes plays and puts on shows and wants people to see his Broadway plays and stuff that he puts on, where he acts. Now, going through these procedures and these processes, a lot of things have changed. A lot of narratives came into perceptions, and he's dating Dakota Johnson, and she's wanting a different life for herself. She loves Chris Evans, but love just isn't enough. Love isn't paying the bills, so to speak. She's like, I love you, but what has it gotten us? Nothing. So she's like, what's all this love? I hate the fact that you're broke. I hate the fact I'm broke. And I'm just like, this is killing us. You're trying not to, do certain things because you're broke. And you can't do certain things that you want to do for me because you're broke. And that's a sad feeling. A very extreme sad feeling for someone who doesn't understand being in a relationship when you don't have the means, but you love the person. And she just made him feel bad, and she feels bad that she's making him feel bad for being poor. So they break up, and she still remains friends with him, and he's still in love with her, even though they've broken up. And she's moved on, and she works at a company that hooks up rich men and put them together and try to match people up based on who's hitting certain buttons, marks, financial status, and that's her job. So she ends up getting ready to put one of these guys together, which is played by Pedro Pascal. He plays a role in this movie of this eccentric rich guy, and he wants her and chose Dakota Johnson, and they start dating. He's like, we're so compatible. And she's like, you're gonna get rid of me and get a younger me. And you probably should just get you a younger girl. You're not gonna want to be with me. And he's, nope, I already know what I want. You're perfect. So they start dating, and everything is superficial, right? Because everyone believes that there's no problems that go on in these situations. Like, this is just what's supposed to happen. Two adults end up doing something that the other one know that they shouldn't do, but they do it anyway. So Chris Evans' life becomes a living hell because he can't afford the rent now that she moved out. He's taking in roommates, and it goes up and down. It's a ebb and flow. Very well shot too, by the way. There was no space for like anything dragging on. No long extended scenes that didn't necessarily need to be in the film. I found this film to be quite entertaining, and it's a lot of subtlety into this that makes it work. I give it 3.5 stars out of 4. Materialist is very well shot, very well directed, very unique story in a romantic film. How much do you love someone? Do you matter? Does it matter to you? Even if you both love each other, if the person is poor and just broke, you live in check to check, and would you resent him for it and hold it against him? This is where we are right now. I never wanted to be the person to be like they say, who wants to be the bearer of bad news? Nobody does. No, I can tell you a human being that would say, hey, I want to give bad news to people. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be that guy. Ever. Nobody wants to be that guy. So what do you do to avoid being that guy? You stop doing whatever it is that you're doing that's leading you to being that guy. Well, I think Chris Evans did a good job. People forget he can act because he was Captain America for so long. They forget that he can act. You watched him in Gifted. You watched him in Puncture, The Snowpiercer, which is one of my favorite movies he was in. But I like him mostly. Puncture was probably one of the best movies he's done outside of the MCU. Puncture was probably the best Chris Evans movie that he's done. Gifted was really good also, but Puncture was, to me, was that was GOAT status. Now, the way I see it is, when you have a movie this fresh, you want to make sure that this movie is for the adults. Like, this is the older, mature crowd. So if you see Chris Evans, don't be fooled and thinking like, oh man, it's gonna be a comedy. No, it's a drama. Got a little comedy, a little humor to it, but it's not a comedy at all. But it's a relationship film. So yes, if you have a date night or a couple night and you watch mature films, this is a mature film for you. If not, then you know what it is. So on that note, I'm out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease. We shall talk again.